Now, one thing we don't have to wait for is Speedy's takes on Brave New World. Now the box office
guys,
numbers,
guys,
the
guys.
box office numbers has come out
Let
real
me
quick
sit
here. Let
back.
me mention this. So with the now early on, we knew the budget. Well, they were saying the budget was 180. That's on paper. So we're just gonna take their word for it. I'm not going to even fight them about the,
Mm.
everyone's an expert
Well, it's
with
international, right?
budgets now. It is international now. Overall, it's made nearly 200 million. Opening weekend, President's Day, Valentine's Day weekend. So they treat it as like a holiday weekend, sort of. So you got about 200 million against the budget. Not bad. Like 90 domestically overall. Though it did have I believe it was a B minus cinema score, which isn't good, but there's like a
How is that?
caveat.
How is it
Usually,
not good though? So I've been hearing that from a lot of people. How is that not good?
so yeah.
Explain
So with cinema score, B
to me.
plus. Well, first off, they gauge it by day one opening night. These are the most interested people in this film, and if it's anything under a B plus, that means the diehards wasn't actually feeling it. Um,
Interesting.
Now if it's like and this is just for like mainstream films, action, adventure, sci-fi, comedy, rom-coms, stuff like that. Horror, someone's always like stomach turning or just ticked off that someone died that shouldn't. So horror is always under B plus. Like you can survive because you're going to tick off someone in a horror film, or you get scared to death or something. So yeah, so with this now, what I'm seeing new people, they're trying to kind of aggregate the cinema score with Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't really care what the critics have to say most of the time, but the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, they say 89% is anything under 89% on Rotten Tomatoes audience score. You're likely going to have a less than B plus cinema score. So I gotta do more tests on that to see, because this is under 89% as well with audience score. So overall, though, with all that said, maybe not the best word of mouth, but you got some fans of this, Marvel fans. I'll just say this, okay? Captain America: Brave New World. Is it Quantumania bad? No, it's not Quantumania bad. It's not Eternals bad to me. You know what I'm saying? What was your thought just with the film itself?
I don't dislike Eternals. It wasn't a perfect movie either, but I don't dislike Eternals. It's definitely not Quantumania bad as far as like the expectations versus reality. I guess maybe I was just in a good mood, so when I went to go see Captain America, because I liked it. I thought it was like
you
seven
liked
out
it.
of 10.
Okay.
I thought it was at least a 7 out of 10. I really want to give it a 6.5 out of 10.
I'm
because
more in the 6 range.
You could see the flaws. You know what I mean? I accept the flaws. It's kind of like like you accept I accept you, Captain America, for who you are. It's kind of like the way that Captain America actually wins the battle with the Red Hulk. It's kind of like a come into Jesus moment. Let's have a conversation. Is this the movie you were really waiting for? Were you?
So now with that, and obviously we're in full spoiler territory. Y'all should have seen the movie already by now. When I was aware of a previous cut of this film, I knew the ending, right? How he beat Red Hulk. And I tweeted out, I said, the same energy as the Martha moment, like literally a BVS Martha moment. That's literally how he beat Red Hulk.
He literally talked him down. He consulted him. This is what he did. He's like, look.
And that rung in my head like after the film, because like in the middle of the film, I'm thinking like, he's just gonna talk this dude down. Like, is this what we're gonna do? But then I was like, that's the Sam character. I was like, okay,
but that's the Sam character. And then I go, if you've been following the Sam Wilson character since the first day he was introduced, and you understand his character arc, and you understand that he was a counselor helping soldiers with PTSD, and it's perfect. A perfect way for him to survive that battle.
That's why I was like, okay.
Is it Marvel sexy? Wham bam, exciting throwdown, dramatic battle? No. But is it close to the character arc? Yes.
This is Sam Wilson's film, right? I understand why it was a choice, right? It was a choice to do this, but you're building up this Red Hulk thing, and that's my main issue with this film is that wasn't enough Red Hulk. I knew as soon as we saw the first trailer, I was like,
That too.
I know this is gonna be a problem. There's not gonna be enough Red Hulk. You know what I mean?
You know what the biggest L that Marvel takes for this movie is that they introduced Red Hulk in the promo that we knew for sure he was coming from years ago. You know what I mean? Because if they would have held those cards closely to the chest and waited till opening day, which they probably couldn't have because it probably would have not helped them. But if they were able to hold them, if they were to hold some cards, and that reveal would have happened on release weekend, the buzz would have been even bigger. They were like, "Oh yeah,
this is my theory."
Red Hulk. You know what I mean?
This is my theory because they shouldn't have put it in the trailer. Now against the whole Doomsday argument from BBS again. You shouldn't have did that. You could have sold this film. This film could have performed the same or even better if you would have. You had the Giancarlo Esposito guy. If you did the whole Serpent Society, and played that up in the trailer, like okay, they're fighting this secret society,
right?
And then of course the toys leaks would have happened, right? The toy leak would have said, "Oh, Red Hulk's going to pop up somewhere."
Well,
cool, that's okay.
The regulars would have been like, "Oh, what the heck is this Red Hulk thing that the president turned into?" You know what I mean? Like, bro, it would have been. That would have been
a cool surprise.
It would be for the nerds, but honestly, general audience being concerned, I think a lot of them just went to go see this Red Hulk because they probably don't even. I've seen a lot of comments on social media like, why is the Hulk red? Like they don't even know. So I think the Red Hulk is what brought them and got them that money that they did, especially thanks to the holiday weekend, Valentine's Day. Of course, everybody's gonna be going to the movie theaters as a date, so it was, it was all planned.
So my thing with that, Drew, is like because you got the Marvel formula going here too, and so it's like I think enough people would have showed up to see, okay, this next installment, of Sam Wilson, and again against this secret society. I think that would I do feel they
can't keep taking that gamble saying, oh, it's a Marvel movie, people are going to go watch it. No, because we've seen that the Marvel brand has been not as strong as it was in previous years. They had to go strong with this one because they couldn't take any gamble, especially with all the reshoots. We know how much money they must have spent on this. They needed every penny.
I mean, that's a fair argument only because of the Marvels. They couldn't, that's the worst performing Marvel film ever still, as far as opening week. And this film, Brave New World, nearly doubled with the Marvel. So this is a win for Marvel. I know people, I know there's going to be experts out there.
We're all surprised
I do get what you're saying with that, Jules. Where you better go ahead and shoot your load, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. To get people to watch this. Exactly. Yeah.
If you want people to, get back in there and have faith again in Marvel, then, don't pull any punches. Just go in there with your best and see what happens. And that's what they did.
Yeah, and hey, like I said, it's nearly 200 million worldwide. They're saying just by numbers and figures out there, they're saying if they get it close to 500 million, they will actually be happy with this film worldwide. It may have a shot. We'll see overseas, how that goes overseas. But the plus for this film is even though it doesn't have the big, it's not a huge opening weekend. It doesn't have the best audience score, but nothing else literally is coming out in February. They have runway for 3 more weeks.
Yeah, on Rotten Tomatoes, and it goes to the critics versus the audience, right? Debate that always usually happens sometimes. I mean, critics at a 49%, and the audience score is at a 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar, right? We've been here before, right? Yeah. Does Marvel kind of know what his audience wants better than trying to wow critics?
I mean, the shocking thing is that the critics usually eat up whatever Marvel puts out. So the fact that they, didn't get a fresh score is pretty shocking.
Right.
Well, just according to Twitter, Marvel didn't get those checks out in time to the shields.
It's pretty obvious.
All the shields didn't get greased.
They didn't get that care package.
The box were probably eradicated.
I did buy the Captain America popcorn, the Shield popcorn. So they got that joint was like $50.
Really? That's probably why I didn't get it. I think it's still available online.
I almost tripped over myself when you told me the price. I was like, "What?"
That's a good collectible though. Like
Yeah.
that's something I would spend 50 on that. That's not bad. That's not
I
bad.
got it.
But
I caved in.
according to the 2025 film list, which is wrong already because stuff moved around. But the next film that's coming out for probably a draw for pop culture is Snow White, which is Disney as well. So they spaced this out perfectly. Brave New World. They still got, like I said, a couple more 3-4 weeks to get a little money off of this, and I think it can hit at least 400 million. I think it's going to make that range.
Yeah, it looks like it.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that a failure though? If it doesn't hit 500K still?
Well, between 4 and 5, they're saying is the because if they're going with the 180 number as budget, 180. Most people say you got to double the budget. Then some people say you got to triple it, whatever. Between 400 and 500 million, it's like 450-ish. If it's under that, let's say if it doesn't get 400, then they probably got to fire somebody. But but if it's between 4 and 5, they was like, hey, because Sam, he's gonna be in the Avengers film. Like in the film, they kind of name dropped Avengers. They didn't go anywhere with it in the film, but they're just kind of setting them up for the next chapter. So, and I guess the post-credit scene, did you kind of catch what that was about, Speedy? Pretty much the leader talking about what's coming up.
Seeing the probabilities of multiple I forget exactly what the line was, but multiple universes and things like that.
Yeah.
And, it was kind of lame.
It
kind of wasn't worth waiting all those credits to wait for when they could have thrown that in, right after the slate credits. I forget what they call that.
Put it like in the mid credits at least.
Yeah, the mid credits scene.
It was totally tacked on.
Yeah.
Like early versions of the film, it didn't even have that conversation.
Yeah, bro. I got Adobe Premiere too. We could have fixed that. Okay. Come on, guys.
And so I think they tacked that on to be like, hey, we're Robert Downey Jr. multiverse, something's coming.
Yeah,
that's all that was.
It was.
Didn't really pop for you.
I wasn't. I was like, okay, I mean, like if you're, I guess for normals, or normies, like we like to say, I guess that would have been like, oh, what is he talking about? But for us, it was kind of like, who probably would wait for those post credit scenes. It was kind of like, God, we know what's coming. Come on, give us something more.
That's interesting. I think, like you said, like the normal, people that they probably just go see Marvel, like they didn't read comics or any animated or nothing.
Right.
They're probably just like, what's going? Like, I guess they're excited. I don't know. I didn't really get a good gauge out there. You know what I mean?
I think people.
I was like,
also
okay.
Another thing too. Maybe this movie's just doing so well just because it's been it's the first Marvel, full length movie this year. Period.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
I think we only
get a bump
right?
from that.
Right.
We only had one. Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah. So.
And that was after the strikes and after, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you only had one all year in 2024.
So definitely
this is
a big
the first
one.
Yeah. Yep. So it's some. It wasn't bad. You know what I mean? It wasn't a bad film. Like if you, at the very least, matinee.